Um, I want to share a little bit about, you know, my story and putting certain things into perspective, especially being in Nigeria and having lived in the States. There are significant differences, especially for uh, black people. And, being someone that's lived and grown up on both sides of the continent, both in North America and on the African continent, I feel I'm well versed and experienced to discuss some of these things because there are lots of things that, people here on the African continent don't understand about what it's like to live there. And it's oftentimes extremely difficult to explain because I have a lot of empathy for Black Americans. And I say empathy, not sympathy, because empathy comes from a place of experience. It comes from a place of practicality, of having gone through something yourself and having an understanding of it from that experience, not just from theory. So having experienced what it's like to be Black in America on several levels, I have a lot of empathy, especially being home here in Nigeria and seeing the mental blocks that you're faced with in America, the systematic roadblocks that are set up for you in America. Those are certain roadblocks that you don't experience here. And those are significant in the way I think, in the way I think about family, the way I think about business, in my ability to dream, in my visions, in my goals. And, I've experienced being a Black athlete in America. I've experienced being a father. I've experienced, being a student. I've experienced going through corporate America, and the thing is, as an African moving to America, you hear a lot of Black people in America, Black Americans, complain about the system and things that they go through in several aspects of life. And you never really, as an African, our first response is what we've been told. Is like you go to America, you work hard, you can get the American dream, you can accomplish anything you want. And but they leave a certain piece of it out, where that piece of it is, that depends on your race. And that's just true. That's a reality. It's very different working hard and seeking an American dream as a Black man versus being a white or Asian. The roadblocks for Black people are systematic, are different, and oftentimes, Black people get frustrated because, other people can't see it, but that's the thing, until you are one, it's very typically hard to experience it in the same way, and so it's hard for them to grasp and understand it. Likewise for Africans, they don't understand what that system is. Even if you explained it, it's something that's experiential. You have to experience it to fully grasp what is going on. And as somebody that has been through it, I can certainly say it's true. Those systems are in place. As a father, I know that I have had to overcome those hurdles first. You know, before you can really start challenging and going after some of the things that you want to, you have to overcome certain hurdles. As a father, I've overcome hurdles and through the court system, through learning that whole process and realizing that, you know, it's a business. You know, it's a business, and they're in the business of making money as well. And, you know, fathers have been systematically removed from families, black fathers particularly. And I would say that, you know, half of the men that aren't in their kids' lives or in their family's life is not really by choice. You know, I think a lot of people deal with the struggle of money and time, the mental, emotional burden, you know, it weighs on you heavily. It's not an easy road. It's not an easy thing to go through. You have to fight for your life, literally, you know. And oftentimes it's easy to sidetrack because you can get into drugs. Any coping mechanism, you can cope in a lot of ways. And that's normal. We're human beings when we go through stressful situations. And as men, we're supposed to be these strong figures. So taking care of your mental health is very difficult when there are certain stereotypes of what you should be or how you should deal with certain situations. So we don't go about them in the healthiest ways. We often lean on other substances or situations that get us into worse situations. And, you know, it's easy to get pushed away from what you should be focused on. I am happy to say up until this point, like, I've struggled with those same things, and I consider myself a survivor because I've gone through those challenges. I've seen people commit suicide. I've seen people lean onto drugs. I've seen people just decide it's too much of a burden and quit. I've seen people go to jail. And those things are real. Those things are real issues that we don't talk about often, especially as black men, but even more as Africans. Because one of my biggest struggles was always, well, my African family don't understand whatsoever what these struggles are or what I'm going through. And then being an African in America,